Throughout history, there have been figures who defy explanation, individuals whose lives were shrouded in mystery, deception, and fear. But among them, one name stands out as perhaps the most chilling of all: Belle Gunness. A woman so dangerous, so cunning, that even today, the full extent of her crimes remains unknown. Who was she? And how did she become one of the most notorious serial killers in history? Belle Gunness was no ordinary woman. Born in Norway in 1859, she emigrated to the United States in search of a better life. But what followed was a trail of deception, greed, and murder so horrifying that it still sends shivers down the spines of those who uncover her story. She seemed to have it all: a successful farm, a family, and financial stability. Yet behind the walls of her Indiana farmhouse, a much darker truth lurked. Mysterious deaths seemed to follow Belle wherever she went. Her first husband, Mads Sorensen, died under suspicious circumstances, on the exact day his 2 life insurance policies overlapped. Coincidence? The authorities thought so, but those who knew Belle suspected otherwise. And then, tragedy struck again. Her second husband, Peter Gunness, met a similarly grim fate, his skull crushed under bizarre circumstances. Belle claimed it was an accident, but those close to her began to whisper that something was terribly wrong. But it wasn't just her husbands who met untimely ends. Over the years, Belle placed personal ads in newspapers, seeking wealthy, lonely men looking for companionship. Many answered, drawn in by her promises of love and prosperity. They arrived at her farm, eager for a new beginning. None of them were ever seen again. She lured them with the dream of a fresh start, only to turn that dream into a nightmare. Once they stepped onto her property, their fates were sealed. As more and more men disappeared, rumors swirled. Some neighbors noticed Belle purchasing large amounts of lye, a chemical commonly used to dissolve bodies. Others claimed to have seen her digging at odd hours of the night, always alone. But no one dared to confront her. Belle Gunness was not a woman to be questioned. She was physically imposing, standing nearly 6 feet tall, with a commanding presence that made men uneasy. Her strength wasn't just in her build, it was in her ability to manipulate, to deceive, and to kill without remorse. In 1908, everything came to a dramatic climax. Belle's farmhouse went up in flames, a raging inferno that reduced her once prosperous land to ashes. Inside, authorities discovered the remains of a woman believed to be Belle, along with the bodies of her children. But was it really her? The head of the woman found in the ruins was missing, making identification nearly impossible. Meanwhile, as investigators combed through the wreckage, they made a discovery that would haunt them forever. Dozens of human remains buried across the property. It was a horror beyond imagination. Skulls, bones, dismembered limbs, all unearthed from shallow graves around the farm. The truth was undeniable. Belle Gunness had been luring men to her farm, murdering them, and disposing of their bodies in gruesome ways. Some were poisoned, others bludgeoned, and many were dismembered before being buried or burned. She had perfected the art of getting away with murder, until now. But with her presumed death in the fire, one question remained. Had she truly perished, or had she staged her own disappearance to evade justice? Many believed she had vanished into the shadows, escaping the law and starting a new life under a different name. Over the years, alleged sightings of Belle surfaced across the country. Some claimed she had fled to California. Others swore she was seen in a small town in the Midwest, living under an assumed identity. Could a woman so calculated, so meticulous in her crimes, have truly been caught in her own web? Or had she pulled off the ultimate deception? Her case remains one of the most perplexing mysteries in true crime history. Unlike many serial killers, Belle Gunness didn't fit the usual profile. She wasn't a drifter or a criminal mastermind operating in the shadows. She was a respected member of her community, a woman who outwardly played the role of a grieving widow and devoted mother. And yet, beneath that facade, she was something far more sinister. Who was Belle Gunness? A heartless killer? A master manipulator? Or something even more disturbing, a woman who simply saw murder as a means to an end? Her story forces us to question how well we truly know the people around us. The answers may be more disturbing than you ever imagined. Even today, the legend of Belle Gunness lingers like a ghostly whisper in the annals of crime. Some believe she perished in the flames, a fitting end for a woman whose life was built on death. Others remain convinced she walked away, leaving behind a burning stage to vanish into the shadows. But one thing is certain: her story is far from over. Over the decades, countless theories have emerged. Investigators and amateur sleuths alike have scoured old records, chasing the faintest trace of her existence. Letters allegedly written by Belle surfaced, hinting at a new life, a new identity. Some even speculate that she continued her deadly ways under a different name, preying on the unsuspecting in another town, another state, another time. If she did escape, what became of her? Did she remarry, slipping back into the role of a devoted wife, her past buried beneath a false smile? Did she watch from afar as newspapers chronicled her crimes, reveling in the infamy she had so carefully orchestrated? Or was she still out there, a silent predator lurking just beyond the reach of justice? The case of Belle Gunness serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can hide behind a seemingly ordinary face. It forces us to confront an unsettling truth: that evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a grieving widow, a hard-working farmer, a loving mother. Sometimes it looks like someone we'd never suspect. And perhaps that is the most terrifying part of all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps me create more content like this, diving deep into the mysteries that history tries to keep hidden. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.